Hiya Cole, great to catch up with you on the range on Thursday and do a really good session. Just to recap on the work that we did. I mean, first of all, if we take a little look at you from this screwed down the line position, the first thing we see is that we're making a much better move with the hips than we were on the previous footage. You can see there the hips are now continuously moving forward and clearing throughout the downswing, rather than locking up like we saw on the footage you sent across from your teaching room the other day. So much better movement in the hips, which is resulting in a much wider, much less of a flipped look coming through impact. So again, if we look at that from face on, hips continuing to unwind and move forward. Previously, at about P5, the hips would stop, slingshot the club head through, resulting in a narrower finish and a higher exit than what we were seeing on Thursday. So good work in regard to the hips. That's keeping you inclined to the ground much better as you come through, not lifting up quite as early. You used to lift up at about P8. This back or this spine tilt would start to become lost. So instead of staying inclined to the ground at that point, previous footage showed you standing up, extending a little bit too early, not maintaining your tilt on the way through. So we take a little look at the changes we suggested. First of all, as you can see here, when viewed from behind, the upper centre and the lower centre could do with just lining up a little bit better, a little bit more stacked on top of one another, like we see here with Grant weight. Again, a little bit too much tilt, a little bit too much separation at address. Feet turned out nicely, could possibly do with a touch wider stance to give you some stability and assist in your ability to clear the hips without the left foot, as we see here, jumping out the way. On the way back, what we tend to see, this is the early part of your session, we sort of sag the hips towards the target to keep us centred over the ball, but we're still tilted a little bit away from the target. What we'd like to see you do, it's almost a feeling like you've got a high jump bar here and you're going to jump over it, doing the Frosby flop, which would get us to extend better, give us a little bit more left tilt or lean towards the target at the top, moving the hips a little bit more this way and the upper body staying stable. So the feeling you want to get for that is the feeling of being a high jumper. As you go back, you're doing the high jump. That's the key thought to take away in regards to improving that top of the backswing position. What I'd then like to see you work on is maintaining your angles coming into impact. You can see your movement's better from the top. Left arm works away from the shoulder at a good rate. Right arm starting to steadily expand. Because we were tilted away from the golf ball or away from the target a little bit at setup, we tend to have a little bit too much spine tilt at that point. If we take a little look at Grant Way, he's more up and down at that point at the top of his backswing, and as a result, as he gets into this position, he's still a little bit more stacked up and down with his centres. But that's going to be achieved by a slight tweak in your address and a little bit of an improved top of the backswing position. Having said that, what we're now going to do is we're going to get rid of the angles a little bit too soon in the wrists. There. As opposed to what we see with Grant weight here. So we can see as the left arm gets in line with the middle of the right thigh. And bear in mind, if your hips or your body was more upright at that point, your hand would be a little bit more in line with the middle of the left thigh. We would like to see these angles maintained a little bit more. I'm just going to get up here someone doing the drill that you were doing the other day, where you were working on maintaining your wrist angles for longer. I think at this stage it's important. Look how much he retains those angles and then through. So this will be a great drill for you to work on. Set the angles going back, hold the angles coming through, and then swing through, maintaining that flying wedge as you come through the hitting area. So really emphasize the maintaining of that wrist cock just before impact. The more you can emphasize that, the more you're going to get a feel for what's required to maintain that. And I think the key aspect here, Col, is that you don't start to get that upper centre drifting back as you do it. So do it in sequence from the top, still expand that right forearm as you see there, then maintain the wrist angles for longer coming into the golf ball. Good luck with it. Do some work on that grid as well, hitting some cut shots from that grid, getting the arms working left, really helped with your ball flight and gave you a feeling of getting on top of it rather than stuck underneath it. Great to see you again. Hope to catch up with you soon. Keep up the good work. Well done.